Into the interview, let's set the scene. Mental health in elite sports has become a growing area of concern, not just among players, but also for clubs, managers, and even fans. Footballers face intense physiological pressures, performance expectations, public scrutiny, career uncertainty, and the constant fear of being injured or dropped. According to an article I read by Rice, made in 2016, elite athletes are just as likely, if not more so, than the original population to experience mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and burnout. The difference? Many of them feel like they can talk about it. There's still stigma in professional sport where mental struggles are often seen as weakness, even though the reality is quite the opposite. When we talk about a make or break season where a player's contract reputation or even their future of the game is on the line, those mental pressures intensify, as shown by a study by Nick Storff made in 2016 as well. This found that athletes in high pressure competitive environments are particularly vulnerable to emotional exhaustion, and that without proper coping strategies or support systems, their mental health can rapidly decline. Despite these findings, support structures like therapy, psychological coaching, and open dialogue around mental well-being are still underused in football. In some clubs, it's improving, but in many environments, it's still toughen up and get on with it. Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast. Today I have a professional football player and a good friend of mine, Omar Makawi here. The goal of today's podcast is us talking about mental health and distress for professional footballers who are close to making their full big breakthrough. So, to get started, Omar, um, yeah, so a bit simple. How are you feeling right now? Like mentally, physically?
Now I'm feeling good. Last games I started every match. I feel fit and I feel motivated.
Hmm.
I play good on the field, so mentally now I'm in a good stage of my career. I came from a bit of a harsh time. I had a long injury around like 6 months. So after that it was difficult to come to my old level, but I think I'm now back on my level and it's going good. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
feeling
think you're
great.
nice. You think you're fully recovered from it?
Not fully. I need to tape my ankle every day still, so it's not fully over, but it's good enough to play 100% every training and match. So
Okay,
it's good.
nice. That was an ankle injury. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I have one question as well. Like this season, does it for you yourself, does it feel like a make or break season? Do you think this is the season that things need to change for you?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I'm now 20 years old. So for me, it feels like this and next year are really the most important years. I think it's really make or break because in Dutch football you have the last year and the under 21, and after that you need to play for the first team. So if you don't make it, uh, you can't start with the first team. You need to go back to the amateurs. So in my mind, it is really this year and next year are the most important years. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better then. Then you can give it your 100%, and I think there's the biggest chance. I've seen you play, of course, very big talent.
Yeah. Thank you.
My
Thank
favorite
you.
defender.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And I got some questions about pressure and expectations as well. So, when you're under pressure to perform or secure your future, how does that show up in your daily routine? Like, what do you do in your day that
Mhm.
is like influenced by the pressure you have for becoming a professional footballer?
Yeah, it's like I think it all starts with discipline. You learn it at a young age. It's like also in the little things, sleeping good, eating good, um, not going to a party or like all distractions besides football. I need to uh, put that away and fully focus on football. And also, if you're gonna play a match, I have a few things I always do to keep me focused and to prepare me fully for the match, so I can know that I can perform on my best.
Yeah. What are some pre-match routines you have?
I'm Muslim, so I pray before the match to
Hmm?
play a good match, and also yeah, also like the little things, put your right football shoe on and step with your right foot on the field. So those are little things that make me more confident when I step on the field. So I have a good feeling when I start a match. I think it's really important for football players to be mentally stable and also to be confident on the field. I think it's a really big factor of how good you can be and how good you will be in the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm glad you're doing good at that.
Thank you,
All
thank you.
right. And do you ever feel like your identity, like your own personality, is like too tied up in football? Like if things don't go right on the pitch, does it affect your everyday life as well?
Yeah, sometimes when because I'm so fully focused on football, when I play a bad match, really the whole weekend I'm mad and angry and I don't feel well in my head. So sometimes when it doesn't go well, or the time that I was injured, I really had a difficult time because you can't
Yeah.
do what you always do, and it really affects my mood when it doesn't go how I want to be. So now I'm glad that it goes a lot
Mm.
better. But your question, yes, it does affect my mood and my
And do you
mentality.
think that's a good thing? Because of course you have been playing football for a long time. Of course, I think
Hmm.
you will always learn to deal better with like back things for you. Football is obviously your job as well.
Yeah.
So is it for you also possible to separate like the work life with the social life?
Hmm. It is possible, but it is also difficult because for me, I started at such a young age with football, so it really I grew up with a mindset and a goal to be a football player.
Yeah.
So I try to separate my friends and my social life with football, but I can't lie, it always affects a little bit.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. And of
yeah,
course, for you, football is probably still a hobby or not? It's the thing
yeah,
you like most to do. So yeah, then
of
it's gonna
course,
affect yourself probably more as well. True.
of course. Yeah.
All right. And now a question about the pressure from like social media. So what kind of
Mhm,
pressure do you feel like coming from social media fans or maybe even family when the stakes are
mhm.
this high? How do you deal with pressure that comes through media?
Yeah, you learn to deal with it, but sometimes I read some comments about me because I was a big talent for the club and I'm still playing for the same club. Sometimes you see people who speak positive about me, but there are always some people who speak negative about me. And
Hmm.
like the first times that I read it, it affects me. I'm thinking like, why do they say that? They don't know me. But when you grow older, you get used to it. Also with the family and people around me.
Hmm.
Now I'm older, it doesn't do much mentally to me. But when I was younger, it did more. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah. I understand. I mean, I wouldn't even know what it feels like to have people talk about me online,
Yeah,
especially what you say, people who don't know you. And your family is helping you out with that as well. They're giving you confidence
yeah, yeah.
and
They are
stuff like
very
that.
supportive. Yeah, my family is very
Okay.
supportive. They try to attend every match that I play, and also they just tell me to focus on the things that I can influence and don't stress about uh, other people things that they say about me.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Yeah, that's a really good thing to get over the social hate, I guess. Because of course you have a lot of footballers who very actively react on the social media hate.
That's true.
But I'm
That's
glad
true.
you're doing better with that. Now, going on to the third section. So I want to talk about mental health and coping mechanisms. So have you ever dealt with like anxiety, a burnout, or just in general feeling overwhelmed during a season? And if you have, what helped you through that?
Not really a burnout, but I can say for me some important games. I
Hmm.
really feel that I had a lot of stress because the pressure that you get when you go to a higher level is really high. I also was a few times uh, in the selection of the first team, and I can speak that the difference from the youth and the first team is really big. You know,
Yeah.
you get in the stadium, you play for so many people. So those moments, I really had anxiety. Also, the feeling and the chance to make your substitute into the field.
Mhm.
It makes you sharp, but it also makes you a little bit stressed because you want to play good, and it is really big.
Yeah, of course. But that's all about confidence you get from the trainer, I guess, as well. And the more you
Yeah,
are there, the more you get used to it.
that's true.
And of course, you playing for Breda, I've seen you in the Breda Stadium with 20,000 people
Yeah,
around
it's
you. I
crazy.
can imagine
It's
the
crazy.
stress, man. Wow, I couldn't even
Yeah.
imagine. All right, but what are some things you do for yourself to make yourself feel a bit less anxious? Say you
Mhm.
go up to an important match, just in your own league, in your own team, and it's like really important. You cannot lose. What are some things you do to make yourself be calm and play as good as you can?
Mhm. Yeah, it's like for me, it's mostly also in my warm up and in my preparation for some matches. It's like I try to engage the match really slowly. So I do a little bit of preparation in the gym before the match, and
Mhm.
also in the warming up, I try to visualize what I'm gonna do on the field. So that's one thing I really do mentally. I try to visualize the day before the match and also a little bit before the match, the passes I'm going, um, the the sprints I'm gonna take. So I have a little bit of feeling what I'm gonna do. So when
Yeah,
I do that, I have in my mind how I'm gonna play, and it helps me to play better. So
yeah,
you're not on the field and you can get distracted or that you are not prepared for what is coming to you from the opponent.
yeah. So basically, you already played the match in your head before you actually
Yeah, a
play it,
little bit. Yes, that's
and
true.
that works well for you.
For me, it was good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
always try to visualize. It is like a habit of me now. I always do it. So I also visualize the field I'm gonna play on, the team I'm gonna play against. So yes, it's a thing of me, but it's helping me to prepare before the match, I think.
Sounds actually pretty good. I might copy that from you, man. I've
You
been
need to really
in
do
my
it.
own football career hasn't been going too great. A lot of injuries, so probably because
It's
of the
too
student
bad.
lifestyle.
It's too bad.
All right, and then next question: is there something people outside of football don't quite understand about the mental side of the game, especially at moments like this? Like something that only someone who has been in your position would know.
Yeah, I really think so. I think people from the outside they don't know what it takes to be a top sporter, a top footballer, and to keep playing on the level. It's not only on the field, but I think outside the field is even a bigger factor than the people realize. You have managers, you have agents, they all want something from you. They all criticize you. Trainers have a meaning of you. They want to help you or they hate you. So I think if you never played on the highest level, you can think like when you're a football player on amateur level, like oh it's this and that, but the difference is really big. I think it's really big.
Yeah, something what I always used to think about footballers was like, oh my God, they get paid so much money and they're just playing football, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah, as you said, there's a lot more that comes towards
There's a
it.
lot
And
more.
there's your social life. I guess your social life often suffers as well. You cannot attend the parties where all
Yeah,
your friends are going
yeah.
or stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's a really common opinion as well. I'm glad you explained that. Then the next question: do clubs or player unions, for example, provide mental health support, uh, or is it actually like fully used as well, or is it a bit of a stigma around it? Is it like a bit of a fake-ish, or is it a really big deal
Yeah,
right now in the football world?
I think it's not a stigma, but there's not that much attention on the mental aspect. So in the lower years, when I was younger, we had a few sessions of a psychologist who then tells us a few tips and tricks to be mentally stable and to prepare yourself for training and matches. But it's not really that we had a lot of different sessions to make us mentally more stable and better to be a football player. It's not
Yeah,
really the culture of the football where I train and where I play. That's not really there.
yeah. But did that come from the club itself, those mental things, or did you have to like get them yourselves?
Mhm. No, those mental sessions they came from the club at a
Mm.
young age. You also have a sport psychologist outside the club, but
Hmm.
myself, I didn't connect with one of them. I didn't feel like I was a player who needed that, but I know that there are some players who speak to a mental coach from maybe week to week or month to month to clear their mind and just speak about the things that they want to improve mentally.
Yeah. Would you like the football world to have more of a view on the mental health of players, or do you think it's fine like this?
I think it's fine like this, but I also think that it's good for the people who are not on this level that they need to know more about what it takes mentally to be a football player, because the one things that maybe irritates me sometimes is when I hear or read the opinion of people who never know of never played on this level, and they just speak like they know everything, but they don't know the
Yeah,
mental aspect. That's the only thing that I think they need a bit more education to know what it takes to be a player of a top football club.
yeah, I do agree with that because the abuse you guys suffer sometimes. I don't know if you have had really bad abuse, but what you sometimes see on Instagram with like the world stars,
Yeah, it's really
just the
crazy.
things people say, like unsuccessful people just swearing at some 18-year-old kid who just broke through, I
Yeah,
think it's really bad. No,
it is.
I agree with you. I think that's a good point. So I got a few questions about your resilience and your growth as well. So looking back at some tougher times in your career,
Mm.
what's something you wish you would have done differently in terms of mental approach, or do you think you handled it correctly?
I yeah, I think I would have done something differently, and I think the period after my injury, mentally, I wanted to be back so quick that it affect me on the negative way. So I suffered, I think, the first weeks and maybe months after I got back from injury mentally because it didn't go like I was used to be on the field.
Hmm.
So then I got to think mentally like, is something wrong? Am I not on my old level? And when I think back, it's just take your time, keep your confidence, and in the time you're gonna reach your old level eventually. So I think in my career that is one thing that I would have done different than
Yeah,
when I did now in my head.
yeah. It's a good thing that you realized because being a footballer, of course, injuries are gonna come, they're gonna go, and
Of
as long
course.
as you can keep it, I guess, in your own head, it's gonna be way easier for you to return next time, and more patience as well, I guess. All right. So next question. So what does resilience look like to you? Not just physically, but also like mentally.
Can you explain me what resilience,
So
what you mean?
resilience is like how you hold up with all this stuff in the football world. Like what what does it mean for you?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's important to keep everything on the low. So I think it's important to um, not going to stress about a lot of things. I think if I'm gonna stress about little things, I am gonna lose my focus on important things, and also the influence from outside. You really need to shut sometimes the the influence down, because if you let everyone uh, get in your head and every opinion that they do something to you, it's not gonna be good for you.
No, I think your head would explode if you were to take everyone's opinion on you into your head. All right. Do you think going through a season like this, just after your injury, having some tough years, do you think this can actually help you grow as a player, regardless of the outcome?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's good for a football player to have in their career one of those moments. I think if you have a setback, you know how you can deal with it. So now I got mine, and now I know what it takes mentally for me to deal with such kind of injuries and such a long time off the field. So I think it really makes you stronger mentally, and also helps you improve uh, to get better at your level. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we're almost out of time for the podcast, so I'm gonna do some closing and reflection with you now.
Yeah.
So if there's a younger player listening to this podcast, for example,
Mhm.
who's starting to feel a bit of pressure, what advice would you give them about mental health in football? What are like the best tips you could give
Mhm.
them to survive in
Yeah.
this football world?
Yeah, I would say to the young kids to always be confident. That is one thing that I think is really, really, really important. Be confident. Don't stress if you have a bad training or bad game, because when you're really young, you have a lot of time to improve. And also, what I want to say to a young kid is don't let the outside world get in your head, because when you get better, they're gonna come, believe me. So just focus on your goal and do your thing.
Good, sounds good. Maybe this goes viral. You're gonna have 20,000 little kids following your advice. I hope
Maybe,
so.
maybe. I hope so.
So last question. So what would like so say the next season, what would be a successful season for you? Just not just in terms of stats or your contract, but like mentally and emotionally as well. Like what
Mhm.
would be your perfect next season right now?
Yeah, my perfect next season would be mentally and emotionally that I feel like I made a step further. So I think I'm gonna need a bigger challenge than I'm facing now. I think with such a challenge, I can feel a little bit more motivated, and it can push me to a better level. So it doesn't really affect where I'm gonna play or with which team I'm gonna play. But I think if I'm gonna play a little bit on a higher level, it can improve my overall football, and also mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, so for you it's just mostly about seeing like a growing line in front of you in order for
Yes,
you to improve, to be
being
happy about
better
yourself.
and growing further. Yes,
All right, Omar, thank you so much for talking to me, and
no
everyone else,
problem.
thank you for listening to the podcast. Our time ended here. Compare this interview and its questions to the studies I've reviewed. So the first study I've reviewed was made by Rice in 2016 and it's called the Mental Health of Relief Athletes, a narrative systematic review. The key findings in this study were that footballers have unique stressors, so that athletes face specific challenges including injuries, overtraining, burnout, intense group scrutiny, which can cause to mental health issues. Like Omar said, for example, all the public hate he gets from people he doesn't even know has a really hard effect on him, and that was the most hard thing to him to get over. Those studies also made in 2016, which is called Comparison of Athletes' Proneness to Depressive Symptoms in Individual and Team Sports. So, the key findings in this study were depression in elite athletes. So, elite athletes are at risk of developing depressive symptoms influenced by sport-related factors such as overtraining, injury, and competitive failure. Of course, Omar, he told us he went through a really tough injury, which really took a hit on him mentally. Also, individual and team sports. Of course, individual sports have a higher rate of sporters getting mental health issues as because they are alone. In a team, there's always people around you. But this also relates back to the injury. Is when you're injured, you train by yourself. You do everything alone. And this makes it also harder on. Which leads to me thinking that, of course, everyone has a different approach to mental health problems. I think Omar is doing a great job at handling it, but not everyone can be as mentally strong as him. As we can see in the interviews, there's a lot of things professional athletes have to struggle with, which are way harder than we could ever imagine as people who never been in this situation.